The Galactic Council chamber fell silent as the holographic display showed the dying world of Whisper 7. Its crystalline structures, once radiant with bioluminescent beauty, now flickered weakly like dying embers. The Whisper people, delicate beings of pure energy and gossamer form, were facing extinction from a solar radiation surge their fragile biology couldn't withstand. "The matter is regrettable," declared High Chancellor Vormak, his 3 heads nodding in practiced sympathy. "However, evacuation protocols require environmental compatibility. The Whispers cannot survive in our atmospheric processors, and their home system offers no viable relocation options." Around the circular chamber, representatives from 200 species murmured agreement. It was simple mathematics. The Whispers numbered barely 50,000. The resources required to develop compatible habitats would bankrupt a dozen star systems. In the cold calculus of galactic politics, some species were too expensive to save. Captain James Chen sat in the human observer section, his jaw clenched tight enough to crack teeth. 3 months. That's how long humanity had been part of the Galactic Council. 3 months of learning that the galaxy's enlightened civilizations were perfectly capable of letting an entire species die because the spreadsheet didn't balance. "There must be another option," he said, his voice cutting through the diplomatic murmurs. The chamber fell silent. Observers didn't speak during council sessions. It simply wasn't done. High Chancellor Vormak's central head swiveled toward him. "Captain Chen. Your species' passion is noted, but this is a matter for full council members to. How long would they need?" James stood, ignoring the frantic gestures from Ambassador Williams. "The Whispers. How long until the radiation levels drop to survivable?" A Korvaxian scientist consulted her datapad. 17 standard months. "But Captain, they have perhaps 6 weeks before. Then we take them to Earth." The chamber erupted. Delegates spoke over each other in a cacophony of languages and frequencies. Ambassador Williams had gone pale. The Korvaxian scientist was shaking her head violently. "Impossible." Vormak's voice boomed through the chaos. "Your death world would annihilate them in seconds. The gravity alone." "Antarctica," James interrupted. "Our southern pole. We've got research stations there with environmental controls. We can expand them, create safe zones. Your scientists said the Whispers need low radiation, minimal gravity fluctuation, and stable electromagnetic fields. Antarctica has the most stable magnetic field on Earth. We'll dig into the ice, create caverns, install whatever shielding they need." "The cost," someone began. "We'll handle it. Humanity will handle it." Ambassador Williams found his voice. "Captain, you can't commit Earth's resources without authorization." "Then I'm committing mine." James pulled up his personal account on his wrist display. "My family owns Chen Mining Corporation. We've got operations in the asteroid belt, rare earth deposits, manufacturing contracts. I'm liquidating all of it. Every credit." The chamber had gone utterly silent. "You would bankrupt yourself?" Vormak asked, his 3 heads tilted in confusion. "For a species you've never met? Who can offer nothing in return?" James looked at the holographic image of Whisper 7, at the fading lights of a dying civilization. He thought about his grandfather's stories of World War II, of ordinary people who'd hidden refugees at the risk of their own lives. He thought about the plaque at the Holocaust Museum he'd visited as a child, "Never again." "My planet has a saying," he replied quietly. "We judge a society not by how it treats its strongest members, but its most vulnerable. If the galaxy is willing to let them die because it's economically inconvenient, then maybe we're not the primitive Deathworlders you all thought we were." He turned to face the council directly. "Earth offers sanctuary to the Whisper people. No conditions. No repayment expected. We'll build them a home and guard it until their world is safe again. And if any species has a problem with that, they can take it up with the Deathworlders. The vote took 3 hours. When it concluded, 57 species had pledged support, resources, technology, expertise. The Korvaxian scientist who'd said it was impossible volunteered to lead the engineering team. Even High Chancellor Vormak committed his personal fortune to the effort. 6 weeks later, the first transport of Whispers descended through Earth's atmosphere, guided by human pilots who'd trained on simulators for 16-hour shifts. They settled into ice caverns lit with soft artificial light, where the gravity was dampened by fields donated by the Zalarian Collective, and radiation shielding cobbled together from 12 different technologies protected them from the harsh world above. Captain James Chen stood on the Antarctic ice, watching the last transport land, his breath fogging in the brutal cold. His fortune was gone. His company dissolved. But inside those caverns, 50,000 Whispers pulsed with gentle light, alive. Ambassador Williams approached, wrapped in thermal gear. "You know you're insane, right?" James smiled. "Maybe. But that's the thing about Deathworlders, Ambassador. We don't know when to quit." Above them, the Aurora Australis danced across the sky, a light show for their new neighbors. And throughout the galaxy, species who'd thought themselves civilized began to wonder if perhaps they'd been wrong about what humanity would bring to the stars.